Hello everyone, this is your Jefrin. Hope you all are doing good. I'll pray to the Almighty for your good health and fine spirit. I am doing my third year B.Tech in Food Technology from College of Fish, Nutrition and Food Technology, Madhavaram, Chennai. From Tamil Nadu, Dr. J. Jayalalitha Fisheries University. I am also a member and also a writer in Foodyaari page, and as a part, I would like to share a video lecture with you on raw and processed honey. This will be a very short video upon raw and processed honey, the difference between the raw and processed honey, and which one is superior. We can just compare and have a debate on it. First, let us know what is honey. You all know that honey is a golden colored, sweet, syrupy liquid which is also used as a sweetener. It is used in India as well as in all parts of the world in various forms as a sweetener for cakes, cookies in baking industry as well as in household cooking too. And there are two honey available today. They are raw honey and processed honey. So while looking into raw honey, it is just the natural honey which is extracted directly from the honeycomb and it is packed and sealed, and no processing is involved in raw honey. So while seeing about the nutritional aspects, it is believed that the raw honey has higher nutrition substances compared to processed honey. So let me tell you in steps what are the steps involved in the raw honey processing. Initially, the honeycomb is taken, it is cut and sliced into pieces. After this, it is allowed to pass through a screw press. So, the screw press action is used to extract the liquor from the honeycomb. Instead of a screw press, an extractor can also be used. Here, I will give you the diagrammatic representation of an extractor. Then, by the use of centrifugal force, the honey is extracted. Now, the liquor is extracted and then sieved. While sieving, some of the parts of the honey, unwanted debris, pollen may be removed out from the honey. Now it is then packed in jars and sealed and sold out. So this is the simple processing steps of a raw honey processing. Now we can go to processing of processed honey. So while looking into the processed honey, we have to look into various aspects of processed honey. Processed honey is otherwise called as regular honey or pasteurized honey. So pasteurization is the major operation which is carried out in case of pasteurized honey or processed honey. So there are 6 major steps. I will list out the 6 major steps to you. First one is initial extraction. So same way similar to the extraction we saw in raw honey processing, an extractor or a screw press is used to extract the honey liquor from the honeycomb. So now after extraction, it is filtered using 2 or 3 meshes so that pure liquid form is obtained for the processed honey. Now the second one is dehumidification step. Relative humidity of a honey should be 18 to 18.5. So if the value exceeds or if the value is less, we have to do dehumidification step. In case of small batches, a normal vacuum cleaner can be used to dehumidify, or in case of large processing, we have to use a hot room and the temperature should be maintained at a particular level for 12 to 36 hours completely so that dehumidification occurs. Now after dehumidification step, liquefaction as well as mixture step occurs. So in this process, additional substitute sweeteners are used. So for example, maltitol syrup can be used, artificial sweeteners, saccharin can also be used, corn syrup can be used. So these can impart sweetness as well as help in liquefaction of the honey, so that the honey will be in a certain liquefied level. If you see raw honey, it will be thick, turbid and it will be cloudy. But when you see into processed honey, it will be transparent in nature. It will be highly liquefied. So that liquefaction step is carried out. So after liquefaction step, heating process is carried out. So heating, it has to be done in a room, in a heat room of maintaining a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius for 24 hours. Here slow mixing of the honey is done so that it evenly the heat is distributed throughout the honey. So after heating, immediately pasteurization is carried out. Pasteurization step, is carried out at 72 degrees Celsius for 10 seconds only. Now, unlike milk, which takes a higher time, honey uses only 10 seconds at 72 degrees Celsius. This has the ability to kill all the pathogenic microorganisms which are present in the honey. So, pasteurization is the major and the crucial step carried out in the processed honey. So, after pasteurization, a major step is carried out, that is crystallization. I wanted to break all myths regarding crystallization of the honey. People are believing that honey which crystallizes are unfit for heating, but the major thing is honey which crystallizes is the original honey. Why is the reason behind this? Honey has a large number of sugars in it. Some are soluble and large amount of insoluble sugars. So as the time goes, they cannot remain in the suspended state in soluble level, and they started to reduce and form crystals. So this crystallization step is crucial for any honey. But in raw honey, crystallization occurs rapidly, but in case of processed honey, crystallization step occurs very slowly. The reason behind this, it is stabilized to a particular level of sweetness, and that's the reason why crystallization doesn't occur very often. But sometimes some people wanted crystallized honey, so that's the reason it is maintained at a particular temperature for a particular period of time to enhance the crystal structure in the honey. So honey with high amount of glucose tends to crystallize easily than the honey containing high level of fructose. So glucose is an insoluble sugar and it easily crystallizes in case of processed honey, and this crystallization step is carried out in the industry itself. But in some cases, a crystallization step doesn't occur. It takes a prolonged time. But to make up this situation, industry adds extra amount of crystallized honey to this and stabilizes it. In some cases, the honey is crystallized and finally the crystallized honey is removed and only the remaining liquor is sent out so that it attracts the consumers. So these are the various aspects of crystallization in the honey. And finally the honey is packed and vacuum sealed. While packaging, it is packed in sterilized containers, and the main difference between raw and processed honey is that raw honey contains pollen from the flowers which stick on to the honey bees, and it also contains beeswax. It may contain propolis. Propolis is a substance which is secreted, which is the saliva of the bee, which is mixed along with beeswax and honey, and this substance is called propolis, and it also contains the trees exudate substances. So all the propolis substances remain in the raw honey. In some cases, raw honey may also contain beeswax too. Beeswax is a substance which is secreted by the honey bee after consuming the honey. This is carried out by the labor honey bees. So all the labor bees, after secreting all these things, these remain suspended in the raw honey. While in case of processed honey, the bees pollen, the bees propolis and other substances are completely removed and the remaining portion is sent out. So these are some of the differences between raw and processed honey, and it is believed that raw honey contains natural antibiotics, natural antibodies and natural antioxidants due to the presence of pollen and all. But in case of processed honey, it is believed that it doesn't contain much amount of antioxidants as compared to raw honey. So this is a drawback. So if you are using honey for medicated purpose, if you are using honey for health related purposes, you will have to go for raw honey. But in case of using for cookery process or using for bakery and all, you can go for processed honey, and raw honey is sold at a very high price compared to processed honey. So these are the major differences between raw and processed honey. So if you want to know more and more in detail about the raw and processed honey, below there will be a link for the article Raw and Processed Honey written by me. You can check that in the Foodyaari platform. So that's all in today's video. In the next video, our team will meet you with a new topic, with a new venture, and stay tuned for the next video. Until then, it's bye from Jefrin. Love you all. Bye. Take care.